Hey there, it's Steph with an important message about email. It is not just for big announcements or when things start slowing down or when you remember it's been a long time since you sent one. Here's something I hear from small businesses. We don't email very often because we don't want to bother people. And I get it. It sounds respectful, thoughtful, and like you're trying to do the right thing for the people on your list. In reality, though, that alleged respect may result in a different problem altogether. What tends to happen when you think you don't want to bother people is that email gets treated like a megaphone. You only pull it out when you have news or an announcement or a launch or something to promote, or it's been a long time since we sent one, so let's drum up something to say. But when email only shows up for newsy stuff, you run the risk of training the people on your list to tune you out. This is where we run into a fundamental philosophical issue. Email is not intended to be a broadcast channel. It's meant to be a relationship channel. You see, back in the early days of what was then called inbound marketing and what is now just called marketing, one of the great analogies was that inbound marketing was about developing a relationship with your customer when you're not in front of them. There were a lot of dating analogies in place back then about this too. But when you email sporadically with long gaps in between, you're not protecting your audience. You're actually making yourself forgettable. The people on your list may forget who you are. They forget why they signed up. That's a big one, because that can result in spam reports. And they can even forget what you're good at. When you finally do show up, it can feel abrupt or intrusive, and certainly out of the blue. And for sure, it's going to feel transactional because now you're only showing up when you want something from them. And as I'm sure you already know, that's no way to develop a relationship. Here's the thing that surprises a lot of people. You're not bothering them by showing up consistently. You're reminding them why you matter. And the real issue usually isn't how often you're emailing, it's what you're emailing. Because good email isn't about volume, it's about value. It's about showing up in somebody's inbox with something useful to them, clarifying for them, and answers a question they may already have. This might be an insight or your perspective, your thought leadership. It might be some context they didn't know they needed. And I'm going to be honest, if the only time you email your list is when you need something, people can tell. We all have that friend. When email shows up consistently with intention and provides value, it starts to feel familiar and trustworthy, and that's how you develop a relationship. And this doesn't mean you need a weekly newsletter. It doesn't mean everything has to be polished or perfect. It doesn't mean you have to have constant promotions going on. But what it does mean is having a clear reason for showing up with a rhythm that your audience can begin to rely on and content that serves them instead of shouting at them. Email works best when it feels like a conversation and not an interruption. So if email feels awkward for you right now or uncomfortable or like you're never quite sure what you want to send, that's actually not a frequency problem. That's a strategy problem. So fix the strategy first, and the rest gets a lot easier after that. And if you want a little help fixing that strategy so you can build a relationship with the people on your list, that's something I'd love to do with you. So reach out, and I'd love to help you make your email marketing matter.